4th, 2019. All three members of the board are present. Our agent and our inspector are also present.
Names,
Steve Ram,
Elaine Byrne,
Alva Goulart.
Deb Rogers.
Virginia Bacon.
thank you. What's first on the agenda?
I thought it was somebody else that was coming.
87 Larkin
Just Bob, he just loves to come here. He likes to be on TV.
For the record, my name is Bob Grasso from Engineering Land Services. This is a septic system repair located at 87 Locken Road. It's an existing 4-bedroom dwelling. It's serviced by a private well shown here in blue. Shown in blue right here with a 100-foot buffer, well buffer right here shown in dash blue. The existing system right is located in this dashed lines right here. We have wetlands located on the site, A1 through A5 and 1B through 24B. It has been before the Conservation Commission and they contingently approved it pending Board of Health approval. So what we're proposing to do, I was out there with Debbie, we did some soil tests right in this area right here. It was so wet and the soil was saturated in a bad soil. It was a class 4 soil that we sent it out for a soil analysis at UMass. It came back as a class 4, which is one of the worst rates for a septic system. And so really, we're proposing half the size required than it would be for a conventional pipe and stone leach area, because we're using a drip system, which is allowable up to 50% reduction of size for a conventional system. So they have an existing septic tank right there, a 1,000-gallon pump chamber right there, and we're proposing an aeration pump that's part of the drip system and another 1,000-gallon pump chamber. What happens is that we're utilizing existing tanks right here. We're going to pump it up to a new, to the aerator, and then the aerator will pump it to a 1,000-gallon pump chamber and then pump it into the pressure drip systems, which is a small tube which wraps around, which is a detail, something like this in the leach area. And you can do it all types of configuration. It's not like a conventional rectangular system. You can do odd shapes, work around trees, work around rock walls, driveways. So it's a bendable tube. And what happens is when it does it cycles all day, and then it recycles, so the water doesn't stay inside the tubes because they're so small. It actually does a circulating filter and goes back to the aeration tank. It will be insulated on top of the system because it's so shallow to the surface for cold
What do you
climates.
use to insulate it?
Right here, there's a note here, the insulation of a foam. It's a foam
Yeah, it says right
insulation.
here,
Rigid foam.
Yeah, it says right here.
Minimum 1 inches thick. So that will be laid over all the pipes so they don't freeze during the winter.
So how does it says it's.
It drips back and it drains back to the system.
Oh,
to the
because it says
aeration tank.
flush, it says flush return.
Yeah, that's a flush. That means when it does, it flushes air through and it pushes all the liquid that's left inside the tubes back to the aeration.
Oh, I've never seen that.
And they have an operation and maintenance schedule for 2 years. Sorry about that. Which is the Oakson, which manufactures the Perk-Rite field and the unit. They actually inspect it for the first 2 years to make sure everything is working, and they're on site when it's being installed. So they make sure it's constructed.
So what's the maintenance after that?
Basically, like any Title V inspector can maintain it, like doing inspection, but for the first 2 years, Representative Oakson have to be there during construction and then once for the following 2 years.
So
once
what's
it's
the
installed.
state, how's the state treating it?
As an alternative type system, it has to be inspected.
Does that have to be recorded at the register of deeds?
Yes, yes.
It's interesting, it's the first one I've seen.
Yeah,
What's the R factor on 1-inch rigid form?
I don't know that. I can get that.
That
The
doesn't
sheet.
seem like a heck of a lot of insulation.
Well, what happens is it dries out when you do a recirculation, it pushes air through the system and drains it back, so the liquid with the insulation, it should be dry and it should not freeze. So, it's a very complex, and that's why they want the representatives of the manufacturer to be there during installation.
They'll find out, that's for sure. Especially if we have a bad winter like they say.
So so we're asking for, the variances, we're asking for reduction in groundwater from 4 feet to 2 feet, which is a typical waiver that typically we ask for repairs. The other one would be a reduction in property, from the property line from 10 feet to 2 feet. And we did notify the abutter affected, the direct abutter, which is 23 Fallon Drive, which I have a green card certified man. They have a P.O. box. And here's a letter that I sent to you. It's the letter I sent to you. Just wanted to be on record. And the other one would be the soil ladder analysis, because during the test pits conducted with Debbie, the water was just pouring in the hole. We had like a 20-inch water table. So this will be raised above the grade, getting 2 feet above that, above the 20-inch water table. So we're gonna grade right into the wall. The wall, the existing stone wall, the field stone wall that's up there now is the boundary line. We're gonna grade right into the field stone. That's about 3 feet high. So we're gonna grade into it. And we're also gonna put a poly line along the edge too.
So is this on Farmland Drive too?
No, they have butt Fatherland
Oh,
Drive,
I
which
see.
is the
Yeah.
back end of it, right over here.
Oh,
They
okay.
come up to,
So this is a.
this is
old-
actually off of Parish Road in Georgetown, but
Yeah.
here's the town line.
Right.
So the dwelling and the septic system would be in Newbury, and that's why we're filing in Newbury, because this is just their frontage.
Oh,
They have two addresses, 23 Parish Road or 87 Locken, which is in Newbury.
Right.
And so that's why we filed with Newbury, because the house, the dwelling, and system is in Newbury.
Newbury, okay.
Was that line surveyed?
Yes, yes. There's a stone wall.
But it's
That's a property line, yes. It's a record.
Have you ever seen one of these, Deb?
One, but it's about 15 years ago, so I'm not any way expert or familiar. We have one on Green Street that we had no trees right across from the pond years ago. I don't know enough about them, so I would assume
Still
we'll
working?
still work it, and I assume we'll go with the company of Oakson, being out there during the installation, making sure it's done right, and the responsibility of the designer being accountable for
Is there-
it being correct.
Is
I
there
do not know much
typical,
about it.
that's their inspection reports that they submit to you annually?
Any questions?
It's a tough site, and basically we're replacing the old system, we're taking portions of the old one out, and there's nowhere to go with the well buffer and.
Albert, what do you think? You got any questions on this?
No, I never heard of it, but again, on what Deborah said, I go along with the same thing.
I'll entertain a motion to approve
I'll make that motion to approve,
with the, there's nothing wrong with those,
No, the 4 bedrooms.
Would you say the deed restriction?
The deed restrictions with the alternate type
I
system.
second the motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming in.
How much annual maintenance is involved in
inspect the areas, they inspect the leach field, once a year. And then, it's just, just make sure it's operating, and just check the flows, they check the filters, the aeration, make sure it's unclogged. Thank you.
That's everybody, see you next month, so.
Yes, see you next month.
God bless, take care.
Hopefully I'll see you next month.
She had emailed and stated that she no longer wants to be on the board. She worked something out with the landlord. That's the end of that one.
I get an update on the Plum Island Grill.
Yeah, so I didn't know where that would stand now. We're over 30 days, right, of all the corrections, so I could set up an inspection. The board would like me to do that, I can set one up, go out there and double check that everything has been corrected.
Okay.
Yeah, do it,
Yeah,
uh,
do we need a vote?
no,
Okay.
Because I should be doing inspections regularly
yeah,
again.
do it,
Yeah.
do it on your schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, after you do it, let Alba know on the phone or through the mail and send us an email and let us know what's going on.
Okay, so does our inspector let me know?
Yeah, do we have any other new business or anything? Because I just noticed, I don't know if Alba has noticed that the water, my water is completely brown.
Yeah, we had, they flush out the hydrants.
Flushing the hydrants.
Oh, is that what it is?
Would you believe, I woke up last night and said, something is leaking. I guess it was, you just seen them on a boulevard.
Well, I saw water on the street.
Yeah, that'll.
The hydrants are always
I
being
can
done.
just sign it.
Oh, okay. Well, the water was completely brown.
Yeah, it does.
I
when
went
you do it.
to
Don't wash
get a
any
drink
clothes.
of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was washing clothes this
Oh.
morning.
Just
but-
let it run for 5 minutes.
Well, maybe I'll have to wash them again.
And you might have to get something special to take it up, because I used to have to, when they did that.
Maybe like OxyClean or something like that.
Yeah, OxyClean would do it.
Well, it'd be good if they let us
Yeah.
know that. But I didn't notice it until I went to get a drink of water out of the sink. You know, I ran the water and I looked at the glass and I said, man, I can't drink this. It was completely brown.
It's been on all those flashing signs in Newburyport, and you probably didn't really them or less, right?
Right.
I was
Is
gonna
it
say,
Newburyport?
yeah, 'cause you guys get Newburyport water.
Yeah, but I wasn't in Newburyport.
No, I
leave.
know, I was
leave,
just saying,
I go to
I've been
work.
seeing signs too, flushing, I think it's happening in a lot of towns, doing it right now, 'cause I've been seeing them everywhere too.
It's on those big, you know, ones.
Like the blinking sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't go to Newburyport during the week. I leave the island and I go to work. I go the other way.
I never went to see if they were down
Yeah, I'm leaving.
there.
I'm,
Someone told me they read the newspaper too, but I didn't read it, so.
maybe.
Any reports from the health agent or inspector?
Yeah, I actually have one update, I just wanna, it's correspondence that we received a complaint, regarding, on Turnpike, Route 1, is that Turnpike? Road?
Newburyport.
Newburyport Turnpike, okay, so, regarding a butter, the TW excavating stating that they believe the sound is too loud for his home, and I guess it's getting ready to sound. So apparently, he sent a letter in stating that, he believes that the truck noise is loud, and TW excavation, brought it to their attention, who were already aware of it. They stated that they hired an independent, they were right on it, hired an independent noise specialist to do monitoring of it, because it's a whole almost there, like it's not, they haven't done anything different in anything, so we should have that report for the next meeting.
What time of day do they start working?
Don't know, he said he said they've done nothing in changes. I don't think it's a time thing as much as it's just ongoing.
What
He said
business is it?
TW Excavating.
Construction.
It's a construction company on Newburyport Turnpike. They've
Been there forever,
Yeah,
right?
been there for many years. So apparently
I'm not familiar with that name, but where is it on Turnpike?
It's where,
somewhere by the storage sheds across the streets.
Oh, on Route 1, not
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
storage
okay.
trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the storage.
Oh, yeah.
So stuff was checked on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I just want to update the board so that we understand until next meeting, but they've on it, they're doing tests as we speak. independent contractor to determine what the level rates are, to see if they
State
need to put a
road, was
buffer,
it to do
further
with us?
buffer or whatever. Well, a
Sound
noise complaint
nuisance.
would be considered a public health nuisance and a sound.
Yeah.
The person's
Yeah.
trying to sell their house now.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I don't know, if there is an issue, there's an issue. We'll get all the results.
Mhm.
We'll get all the results, but before the next meeting. So I just wanted to update the board on that. Besides that, I don't really have anything else that needs to be updated.
Anyone else have anything else to say?
Sometime in the next, couple of weeks, Jenny, when you're going on vacation next week
Yeah.
without her daughter.
Does anybody have a calendar so we can make a plan for the week?
When you get back, will you do a quick check on, anyone that was selling vape?
Before,
When you get back.
okay, I'm trying to think if there was anybody over here.
There are two that are selling, that were selling vape, nobody's doing it anymore. But it was, the place across the street from Alva, and the only other one was the cupboard there on Green Street.
Well, it might be worth checking.
Okay.
I didn't do the Byfield one, so I don't know if they were on Byfield.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if any of them.
What's
had
that?
any
What are we
kind
trying to
of
do?
Well, at this time, it's been banned in the state of Massachusetts,
Using vapes, there's
Sell-
like
selling-
e-cigarette,
selling the vape product, and they took them, and removed them from the shop before I even got out.
yeah, everybody already had claimed
Yeah.
it, took care of it before we
so
got
it's
I
it.
don't know how they got the word so quickly. Everybody I saw had it off the shelves
They did.
And they all did, when I walked in
even
there.
before the evening news.
Yeah,
So I'm sure, right, I'm sure whoever sells tobacco and stuff, they have to get that special permit, they must just, I'm not gonna go out to them too. They probably got it at the same time we did, so, that's it.
but yes, I can update, I can look at it.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Just to go up to check the vapes.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, before we do that, we should set a meeting date for next meeting.
Was it the 14th or the 21st?
Yeah, I think probably the 21st.
Yeah, because we'll be at our conference in Falmouth, the first week in November, so we would literally just be coming
What's
back,
the date,
there's a
did you
holiday
say?
that Monday, and then we'll be just coming back, so we might wanna wait until the November 21st, was it 21st?
Yeah, but now, what day is Thanksgiving?
It's
The week after.
Thursday
The week after?
The following
The
Thursday.
21st?
That's on the
The
21st.
21st of November would be,
It's a
It's
Thursday,
a
right?
Thursday.
yeah, so,
Thank you.
Thanksgiving's on the 28th this year, so it'll be the 21st.
Oh, my daughter's birthday, how old is she gonna be?
We don't wanna know.
About 64 years old.
No, we don't wanna know how old your daughter's gonna be, and I'm sure she doesn't want it.
I'm sure she'd love to be, because she loves her great-grandchildren, or my great-grandchildren.
21st, you wanna do it 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock?
I think 2 o'clock is good.
What do people want?
I just not.
1 or 2?
Because it's old.
It's gotta be,
Like us.
okay, well, don't remind me. Okay, the 21st
It's
Yeah.
a Thursday.
at 2 o'clock?
It's good for me, yeah.
If it doesn't snow.
November 21st, no.
Why is it on Thanksgiving right
Now I'll entertain a motion to.
So
I
it
make a
did one
motion
year
to
for
adjourn.
October 31st,
I'll
too.
have to
Is
go
there a
to-
second?
Okay, Board of Health,
Is there a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.